Hey, what's up everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to get hit with the truth. So today we are doing the Joshua versus Wallin breakdown video. As former two-time unified heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua fights for his third time this year when he takes on Wallin, the dangerous Swedish heavyweight contender. They will collide on Saturday, December 23rd in the main event. The main event of a double main event and a huge Day of Reckoning card, super card that is taking place on DAZN pay-per-view. Now, before we get into that, if you could smash the like button, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. I really do appreciate any and all support that I can get as I continue to build my channel here. And again, guys, big ups to 70 plus subscribers in the last month. And thank you all my Japanese, Filipino, Asian fans and worldwide fans for the Inoue Antapolis video that's received over 5,000 views now. I'm just so overwhelmed that I have over 650 subscribers and that people are viewing my video and actually liking them. I mean, I'm just going to keep pumping them out as long as you guys enjoy watching them. So thank you again. I really appreciate it. But back to this fight now. The Joshua versus Wallin Heavyweight Showdown. If you haven't seen my breakdown videos before, it's basically I discuss the fight, what it means, and then I get into each fighter. And in a fight like this, it's a non-title fight. We'll start with the A side, which would be Joshua, and then we go to the B side, which is Wallin, and I break down each fighter. Same questions, what they've done coming in, and you know, my belief in how hungry they are, what they need to do to win, and then finally the last two things is it better for boxing if one or the other wins, and then my final prediction. So this fight now, it's a lot bigger fight than people are giving it credit for. Anthony Joshua is a huge, massive name in boxing, especially the heavyweight division and worldwide. I mean, outside of the United States, Anthony Joshua is a major, major name. And he's a major name in the US as well. It's just not as many US fans pay attention to boxing internationally as they do, you know, outside of the US, obviously. So, but AJ is huge, and he's heading into this fight with Wallin ahead of what is a potential showdown with Deontay Wilder, who's fighting in the co-main event. And, you know, Wallin is an interesting choice for AJ, because Wallin is no joke. This dude is a dangerous southpaw, and he's big, he can box, he can take shots, and, you know, he gave Tyson Fury hell back in, I believe it was 2019, I want to say. Yes, it was 2019. He gave Tyson Fury hell that night. And, you know, and Wallin is a gamer. He's been waiting for his shot. So this is a big, big matchup right here for AJ to really kind of prove how good he is. And Wallin, it's a huge opportunity. So big time matchup. Can't wait to see it. So let's start with AJ. Anthony Joshua, what has he done rolling into this fight? As we always do, we look at the last three fights for each fighter. Well, his three fights date back to August of last year, when he lost in his rematch to Alexander Usyk by a split decision as he challenged Usyk for the unified heavyweight title. First fight, Usyk dominated him in 2021, over 12 rounds. Rematch, Usyk won. He was the better fighter again, but Joshua made it closer, and he did impose his will a little bit more, but still came up short. Now, he returned from that in April this year and took on Jermaine Franklin, and pretty much outworked, outclassed, outboxed him over 12 rounds to a unanimous decision. One of only 3 times that AJ's won a fight without knocking a fighter out, and, you know, walked away with the win. Then he was supposed to fight Dillian White in August in a rematch from their 2016 bout where AJ stopped White, and White tested positive for a bunch of banned substances or something. And the fight, you know, White was taken out, and Robert Helenius stepped in as a replacement opponent And AJ did a good job of outboxing Helenius and then just totally drilled him in the 7th round and knocked him out cold as he, you know, showed that brutal power that he's always had, but he's been hesitant on. Now, he's heading into this one hungry, and I think AJ wouldn't have chosen a fighter like Wallin if he wasn't supremely confident that he could beat him. But AJ is he needs to be hungry if he wants Tyson, well, eventually Tyson Fury, but if he really wants if he really wants Deontay Wilder next year, he's got to win this fight, and he kind of has to look impressive as well, or nobody's going to believe that he can beat Wilder next year. So we'll see how it works, but I do believe AJ's hungry and ready to go for this one. Now, what does he need to do to win this fight? Well, he has a slight height advantage by only half an inch. That's not really going to help him too much, but what will help him is the 4-inch reach advantage he has. He needs to utilize that. He needs to execute that jab, really tag Wallin with that jab. And if Wallin tries to avoid the straight right hand by moving to AJ's left, he needs to hit him with the left hook and follow it up with the right down the middle, just to neutralize Wallin. But it's going to be interesting to see who the aggressor in this fight is. I have a feeling that Wallin might take a page out of Usyk's book, since he was a southpaw, and try to do that against AJ. And, you know, maybe it might work, but I think AJ needs to just box, set up his shots, and, you know, I think he needs to take risk in this fight too. Wallin is not a huge power puncher. He never has been. He's 26-1, I believe, with 14 knockouts. So only about half of his victories have come by knockout. His last 3 fights have all been decisions. So, you know, actually his last 4, if I'm correct. And again, he's just not a big knockout guy. So I think AJ needs to take some chances in this fight and go after Wallin a little bit. Even though Wallin's a big guy and you could still get caught with something, I'd still think he needs to take some chances in those early rounds to the middle rounds. But it definitely needs to happen based off of his jab and movement. He needs to be in good shape in this one. Normally he is, but it's that endurance I'm talking about, to be able to go into the deep rounds. I think that's what's going to help AJ in this one. Now, can AJ win this fight by knockout? Not going to be easy because Wallin has a good chin. I do believe AJ can win this fight by knockout. I do, but I think it's more of a fight that goes to the cards for AJ, that, you know, and that's the next question. Can he win a decision? I think he can win a decision over Wallin. Now, I do believe he can knock Wallin out because he's got the pop and he's got the power. The big question is he going to take all those risks that I said he should take? Is he going to take those risks when there's a pending Deontay Wilder showdown on the horizon? I don't know. But I think it's going to be more calculated risk, and he's going to put his hands together and box, and I think he's going to go, you know, just settle. He's going to be happy with a decision, if that makes sense. So I say it's more likely a decision than a knockout for AJ, in my opinion. But again, he can win. Now, what does a win mean for Anthony Joshua? A win means everything. You know, this is a dangerous opponent. I think a lot of people are viewing Wallin as a live underdog. And if AJ can be impressive, even if it's a decision, and win one-sided, I think people are going to be like, okay, AJ's still sharp, he's still solid, even at 33, you know? And it'll be believable him going in against Wilder that he can win, you know? A loss in this fight is going to completely derail Anthony Joshua. He cannot afford to lose. Even though Wallin's considered to be a very serious contender, you know, a loss to Wallin for AJ at this point when Deontay Wilder's right there, when, you know, potential showdowns, a third fight with Andy Ruiz, a showdown with Tyson Fury, they're all right there, right within reach for AJ. A loss to Wallin would just totally kill him. And I hope that's not what happens, but we'll see. Now, let's switch over to Otto Wallin, the Swedish contender, and talk about him coming in. His last 3 fights date back to May of last year in 2022. He has a victory where he defeated Rydell Booker, veteran, by a 10-round decision. He fought another guy in January this year, widely unknown fighter, and got an 8-round decision. And then he took on former unified cruiserweight champion Murat Gassiev a few months ago and walked away with a split decision in a fight that most people felt he won. The judges, one judge had it 9 rounds to 3 for Gassiev, and the 2 judges that gave him the fight had him only winning 7-5. So maybe it was closer according to the judges, but he still got away with the victory, and he's heading into this fight with Anthony Joshua really hungry, because I believe that he knows how big of a fight this is for him. I think this fight at this point in time is potentially bigger than the showdown he had with Tyson Fury all those years ago in 2019. You know, because, how do I say it? Joshua, it's more believable that he's going to beat Joshua than it was back then against Fury. And, you know, Joshua also has that enormous name, where Fury had a big name at the time. Of course, he was coming out the Deontay Wilder fight, but you know, a lot of people weren't sure how good Fury was going to be in this second run. You know, since coming out of retirement, some people thought he just got, you know, he got lucky against Wilder in that first fight. So people know Wallin more now, and I think it's more, he has a better chance going in against Joshua, according to the critics, than he did against Fury. Now, he's ready for this opportunity. What does he need to do to win this fight? Like I said, I really think he needs to take a page out of the Usyk book, and box Anthony Joshua. Jab for jab, try to beat him to the punch. Move to his right, Joshua's left, to try to avoid that big right hand. But I don't think he needs to be terrified of it either, because Wallin can take a punch. And I also think he needs to try to perfectly time his shots and set up a big power shot himself, because he's a big dude. You know, he's 6'5.5". He's right there with AJ. AJ's 6'6", so this is he's not giving up a lot of height here. But he needs to get inside of the reach advantage that AJ has, and he needs a box and land a right hook to the head, and maybe he can try to hurt AJ with, if he gets on the inside and can land a short right hook and a straight left down the middle, might be able to hurt AJ. AJ's been hurt before, and I think he can afford, with his chin, he can afford to take more chances than what's his name took, you know, years ago. I mean, a couple years ago in Alexander Usyk. So, you know, we'll see how that goes, but that's what I think he needs to do to walk away with a victory. Now, can Otto Wallin win this fight by knockout? I actually think he can. You know, he's a big guy, and he times his punches. He's a solid boxer. I think if he can land something really sharp and direct and, you know, consistent, I think he can possibly stop Anthony Joshua. Can Wallin win a decision? You know, and I think it's possible he can win a decision too. I really think he's a live underdog in this fight. Now, what does a win mean for Otto Wallin here? I think a win for Wallin, a win means everything. It really puts him on the map and gives him the opportunity he's been waiting for. You know, he beats Anthony Joshua. He basically is the belle of the ball. He's going to get so many major opportunities, and it'll be his career signature victory that he's been waiting for. So a win means everything. Now, what does a loss mean for Wallin? A loss can hurt depending on how he loses. If he plays that nuisance role where he loses a close one, controversial, or is in the fight, you know, from start to finish, he still can get opportunities. He might, though, be looked at as a high-risk, kind of low-reward guy, you know, as he's been looked at the last few years. So he might be an avoided guy. but he still will be considered dangerous and a threat. And that's what he wants at the very least in this one. So, you know, a loss would hurt, but it wouldn't completely debilitate him. Now, last two things. First, is it better for boxing if Anthony Joshua or Otto Wallin win this fight? And that one's easy. It's better for boxing if Joshua wins. He is a major, major name. He has been for years now. A win here sets up a major fight with Deontay Wilder, or fights with Tyson Fury, Andy Ruiz later on down the road. You know, AJ puts asses in seats and puts eyes on television sets. I mean, that's just it. And if he can win this fight, it's way better for boxing if he wins than Wallin. Now, my prediction. Who do I think is going to win this heavyweight showdown between AJ, Anthony Joshua, and Otto Wallin? I'm picking AJ. I think he's going to win this fight by a decision. Otto Wallin is a serious threat, though. Very live underdog. I could see Wallin upsetting him by a decision, hurting him, possibly knocking him out. I think AJ's going to have a couple moments against Wallin that surprise him. But I think AJ's going to work on that piston-like jab and hit him hard and set it up. And I really do believe he might score a knockdown or two on Wallin and get the victory. But I got AJ winning a decision and moving forward. So that's it. That's what I got. That's my Joshua versus Wallin breakdown video, as they will collide Saturday, December 23rd in the co-main event of the Day of Reckoning DAZN pay-per-view supercard. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash the like button, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate any and all support. This is True Boxing. You've been hit with the truth.